So let's jump into analytics next here. Andy and Tom, both of you help our clients get their arms around Google Analytics, Google Data Studio, HubSpot, dashboards, and tons of other tools. What advice would you give marketers who feel overwhelmed?
Well, I would start with it's normal to feel overwhelmed because if anybody comes to us and has spent time in Google Analytics, they see this whole dashboard of numbers and they kind of freeze up. Even people that work in these tools all the time can freeze up. And so it's really important to decide what data is the most useful for you to focus on just to get something going. And a good way to do this is this ties into KPIs. How can Google Analytics and tools like it help you understand whether you're hitting your KPIs? You can also do things like set goals right within Google Analytics that can create a sense of measurement and purpose to the data. And maybe Andy, you'd like to build on that, but I think these are ways where you can tackle it in chunks and start to gain some insight into how, sort of breadcrumbs into how you can improve.
Well, and as you can see, I think we go to the next slide. There's all sorts of ways that we could get at this data. One way to do this is, first of all, to think about where are people going to see this data and what's the level of abstraction going to be, because Google Analytics is kind of like a Swiss Army knife. There's a lot of data that you can get at. Essentially, you're just measuring events on the website. Somebody arrives at the website, they view pages, they engage with content, they view videos, they click on things, and you want to figure out, again, based on your KPI model, which of those things are really important for them to do, which of those events constitute conversions, either macro or micro conversions. And so then you can use a tool like Google Data Studio, just as one example. You could also use HubSpot or some other visualization platform like Domo to create dashboards so that people can see what's going on sort of under the hood. And the type of dashboard that you create is going to some degree reflect the level of granularity and detail that people need to see. Like the previous slide, the dashboard was pretty high level. If you could flip back to that for a second. That's done in Google Data Studio, and it's basically showing you things like goal completions by state and by channel. It's showing you overall over the course of a month or over a period of time what the goal conversion rate is. Are there any spikes? Are there any fluctuations? What does our traffic pattern look like? What is the ebb and flow of users? Whereas on the next slide, these are directly from within Google Analytics, and they give you much more detailed information about things like cohorts and recency and time of day that people are engaging. So you can drill down into the details and get a lot more granular. And Corey, as you mentioned, or I think actually it was Tom that you said that you can quickly get overwhelmed because there's so much data. So again, you go back to your KPIs and say, what are we really measuring here? And mostly it is going to come down to the handful of events that make your KPIs that you really care about. It's going to be things like your lead form fill rate, for example, or your e-commerce conversion rate if you're selling products online. Those are going to be the main types of conversions that you're really going to care about, and that's where you're going to spend most of your time looking at analytics dashboards in those areas, whether they're in Google Analytics itself or whether they're filtered through a dashboard like Google Data Studio or HubSpot or some other type of visualization. But the main thing is be clear on what it is you want to measure. So you're not just looking at pretty pictures, but you're able to go to this dashboard and flip through it and say, yes, this is what I care about. I care which of my website users are visiting on desktop versus mobile, which is what you see in the lower right-hand corner. Or I care overall about the various, I care about engagement rate or bounce rate, or I care about the number of new contacts that are being created. If those are the things that you care about, if that's how success is measured, then you want to make sure those things are front and center on your dashboard.
Andy, as someone who's came from the non-technical marketing side, as a writer by trade, it was always a little bit overwhelming to go in there and to know where to start. I spent most of my career on the client side, and it was always such a relief to work with someone like you or like Tom, who could open Google Analytics, understand what I'm looking for, and set those things up for me so that I could follow those and make sure that things are going as they're supposed to. So I would say too, that if you're not a technical marketer, you open up Google Analytics and it makes you want to run away screaming, that there's always people, you can always partner with someone like a Tom or Andy who does this all day, every day, knows exactly what to do and can help you, measure your way to your goals.